Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go GBL battles. These battles are in Ultra League Premier Classic. I have continued to climb with the team that I used in my last videos, and I encountered a lot of different team comps than I did in my last video, so I'd like to show you these games so you can have a better idea of how to play some of those out. My first opponent is Verg, who is opening Gengar. So usually a Gengar into a Gallade will end up throwing their Shadow Punch at 5 and then swapping out and trying to transfer that confusion. Transferring fast move damage has been a little inconsistent for the last few days. I'm not the only one who's starting to notice that. So that might be why Fergie is going for a 6th Shadow Punch and then just swapping out rather than trying to throw in the middle of a confusion and transfer it. So ends up switching out into an Escavalier, which I don't have like a hard response to, so I'm going to stay in with my Gallade, throw both of my close combats. I get both shields, and I'm pretty comfortable with that, but this Escav does have a lot of energy. So I'm going to wait out my switch clock a little bit because I was thinking there was really no benefit to doing that since I had not switched out and my opponent had, so really should have sent Ampharos out right away. I was just trying to have thoughts about how I want to play this out. Ended up sending an Ampharos. Going to no-shield the first drill run because I can easily survive it. Stay in for a bit, and then they switch out into Gengar. This actually helps me, so actually kind of did help me that I stayed in longer and didn't switch out right away, just so that my opponent's switch clock was out enough for them to swap Gengar in, get licked down by Snorlax. Now I have Snorlax with some energy. If Escavalier comes back out, I'll be able to take it out, and actually brings out a Lapras. So that's fine. It's interesting to see a Lapras instead of a Walrein. I forgot how it is that I'm supposed to play this matchup out. But so I'm just going to throw a superpower first, and it leaves the Lapras pretty low. But because I have an energy lead, I'm able to just go double superpower. But normally in the Lapras matchup, when it ends up being a lot closer, if I end up just doing more lick damage, staying in longer, but I have to throw a body slam and then superpower second. But that worked out fine, given that that was the situation. I'm able to Thunder Punch this Escavalier, and I managed to take that first game. That's GG. Like, you would think Ampharos not really amazing against Escavalier, but since you outpace, it's a pretty neutral matchup. Alright, next up against Hildeclash. Gallade into Machamp. So, obviously, fantastic lead for me. They're going to switch out right away to Walrein, and I'm going to respond by sending out my Ampharos. Like, Gallade has a pretty okay matchup against Walrein, but this is as good an opportunity as any to send out Ampharos. I'm going to shield this because it could be an Earthquake. Turns out to be an Icicle Spear Bait. That is pretty typical. But I'll usually be safe and shield it regardless. Can get my Thunder Punch out, and I can just get to my next Thunder Punch before they're able to get to their second, to the Earthquake after Icicle Spear. So if they end up shielding that one, that's fine. This is going to be an Earthquake, I imagine, so I'll shield that and farm down. And that puts me in an okay position. I've maintained alignment, and alignment is obviously going to be very important. Machamp can farm up some energy on Ampharos, but it can't really hurt Gallade unless they're carrying Payback, but nobody's doing that, at least not at the ELO that I've been playing at. And since they haven't thrown anything yet, I'm just going to spam out my next Thunder Punch. Managed to take that, and there's a Trevenant in the back, so I'm just going to send in Snorlax right away. And this is really just, I kind of just hard countered my opponent in this game. But that's fine. That's going to happen sometimes. It happens the opposite way to me also. Although I will take this opportunity to thank you all for watching. My channel has been doing pretty well. 3 of my last 7 videos have managed to hit the 10K view mark, so go me. Somehow I still only have 4K subs, so I usually don't say it at all or say something kind of like this at the end. But please subscribe. I'm pretty sure having higher subscriber numbers means that YouTube will occasionally send me a box of stuff, and also I think it helps with the recommendation algorithm a little bit, so it'll help me get out there more. So yeah, do that. All right, so this next game, Trevenant lead. Obviously terrible lead for me. I don't even really have 2 hard answers to Trevenant in the back, so I'm always going to end up sending in my Ampharos right away, not letting them build up energy. And this one ends up letting me get the Dragon Pulse through, which is normal, because most Ampharoses don't carry Dragon Pulse. And because of that, and because they went Shadow Ball, I'm able to threaten them with a Thunder Punch. And now our switch timers are very desynced, and they're going to send in Muck. So I'm throwing the Dragon Pulse here because I've got it, but really I should have just thrown a Thunder Punch because it's more efficient, and it's not like I was going to be able to prevent this Muck from getting to a charge move. Or from getting to 2 charge moves, actually. They land that Thunder Punch, and they are just barely able to make it to their next Thunder Punch, so I'm going to let this one go also, because I know Trevenant is going to come out and end up farming me down, so I'm just going to spam out Leaf Blade, so that at least if Trevenant wants to farm me down, I'm going to take that last shield first. And they shield it, and that's fine for me. Like, they're going to farm down, but that energy is not really going to have anywhere to go into my Snorlax. So I'm waiting out my switch timer, so it'll be able to send in Ampharos if necessary. And there's a Walrein in the back, so that's fine. They're out of shields. I've still got one. So I'm just going to throw this superpower before they get to their Earthquake, and then I'm going to switch out into my Ampharos and try to catch the Earthquake. I think I switch out too early anyway. So really I'm just catching an Icicle Spear, but that's fine. My Snorlax is healthy enough, and I have one shield left. I'm going to be able to get to this Body Slam before they're able to get to their Earthquake or to double Icicle Spear, whatever it was that they were building up to. And I'm just going to lick down that Trevenant and manage to take that game. Like, Trevenant leads, not comfortable feeling, but they're definitely playable. Next up, Gallade into Trevenant again. Sometimes that's just what happens. So I'm going to send in my Ampharos, and this time they're going to switch out right away and swap in their Machamp. But, I got like half a Volt Switch in before they made the swap. They managed to sneak in a counter, so now we are aligned. I'm going to throw this Thunder Punch. They're at back-to-back Cross Chop, so I'm not going to shield this. I am just barely going to survive the Cross Chop, and this Thunder Punch is going to go through. And if they no-shield it, they will actually just barely survive that also. Tried to throw a Volt Switch, didn't quite make it in. If I had, I think they would have survived with 1 HP anyway, so it probably didn't make a difference in this game. But if the Machamp had less good IVs and I had prevented them from sneaking in a counter when I threw my first charge move, then that would have been fantastic for me. End up with my Snorlax lined up with a Kanto Muck, and this is okay-ish. I'm up a shield. So I've got that going for me, but winning alignment obviously would have been amazing because they would just be confusioning down this Muck and then just have Snorlax waiting in the back to handle Trevenant. I let the first Thunder Punch go, and I have to shield the next one because it's going to put me too low. Like, these Thunder Punches, they don't hurt that much, but so I ended up letting the first one go because, the Seed Bomb does do more. Was going to try to maybe switch out and make a catch, but I think my opponent was waiting for that to happen also, so I'm just going to end up body slamming, make it there at the last second. Trevenant's going to come out. I am low enough to Shadow Claw down at this point, so a pretty dangerous position. I get to the body slam. It's going to do nothing, and I'm going to switch out into Gallade right away. End up transferring a Shadow Claw, which doesn't help, but I mean, at least my Snorlax is still back there, and I could theoretically get in one lick before they KO me. I no-shield the move because I'm confident it's a Seed Bomb, and I know I'm going to survive it. Able to get to this Leaf Blade. It is gonna land. I didn't let them sneak in a move, and I simultaneous KO with them, but I still have my Snorlax in the back with 1 HP, which you can't see because they changed the way the visuals work, and I do not care for it very much at all. It feels much more jerky and lower quality. I hope they put it back in the next update. All right, Gallade into Swampert. So this is much more favorable than my previous 2 leads, but it's still not like the most amazing matchup. Shadow Swamperts, Hydro Cannons hurt a lot, and if they land the Earthquake, that would one-shot, and they do outpace me, so kind of up to them, but usually they won't. Usually they'll just be going straight Hydro Cannon, and I mean, I'll be shielding it anyway because Hydro Cannon hurts a lot. They switch out to Typhlosion to try to catch a Leaf Blade. I was not ready to throw one yet, though. And I'm going to respond by sending out my Snorlax right away and spamming out this Body Slam. So they are going to let that go, and they are just going to spam out their Solar Beam, actually. Solar Beam hurts Snorlax enough that they're just barely able to take me out before they get there. They're still 1 away from their Blast Burn, though, so after I wait out my switch clock to think about how I want to proceed, I decide to send out my Gallade, get a little bit more energy, just because it hasn't revealed my backline yet. Thankfully, Swampert comes out to absorb Gallade's energy, and I am fine with that, because my Ampharos would have a really miserable time. Able to throw both of these Leaf Blades, take out Swampert, and there's an Escavalier in the back, so that's all right. I built up energy and switch out before they reach their Drill Run, because now they're in a position where they're forced to at least make sure that they end this matchup with enough energy. They land their drill run. I'm going to spam out my Thunder Punch. Escavalier gets kind of low, but like I need to land this next one, and I make it there, able to get this next Thunder Punch out, so I'm able to take this this Escavalier down, because I think they would have probably been able to beat Gallade to the charge move if they had come out like that, if they had managed to counter me down. So, yeah, pretty good set, 5 out of 5, and 2 of those were Trevenant leads, which is, you know, pretty difficult for my team to handle, admittedly. But, yeah, managed to really clean up in that set. I don't know, just versatile team, manage your energy well, and yeah, sometimes you can pull out some upset wins. So for whatever reason, I did not cut out the catch of this Bayleaf, and also for whatever reason, it took me 3 balls to catch. But, you know, I don't really pride myself on being the best Pokemon catcher, more focused on battling, so that's fine. And I go up to 3,400s, breaking the 3,400 barrier. All right, next set, starting up against Ashish. So Ashish is one of my mods on Twitch, so I know he knows what I have, and I have no idea what he's running. So, you know, that's makes it a little more difficult for me to play around, since I know he'll know what's coming. Still, it's a Swampert in the lead. Swampert is at the Earthquake. Earthquake will actually hit Gallade hard enough that it'll put you into Mudshot farm down range. Thankfully, I had no shielded, and it turned out to be a Hydro Cannon bait, so I am going to have to shield the second one. And I was throwing the Leaf Blade there, but the game gave me a refund, so it did not go through. And, you know, that's unfortunate that the game is like that, but it is what it is. So after I land the close combat, I'm going to switch out into Ampharos, because I'm planning to build up enough energy. Like, the Swampert is low enough that I might be able to take it out with the Dragon Pulse. Build up as much energy as I can, and now I'm going to throw this Thunder Punch here. I'm not quite in a convenient farm down range for Swampert, although I don't know what else is in the back. Could be something that can farm me down. Swampert's going to come out. I could have built up to the Dragon Pulse and thrown it, but the Swampert was low enough that I thought maybe this single resisted Thunder Punch would be enough, and it's nowhere near enough. All the same, looks like Swampert was going to throw the Hydro Cannon when I reached enough energy, which would have been enough for the Dragon Pulse if I had thrown that. Gonna end up sending out my Snorlax, and there is a Machamp left over in the back. So pretty unfortunate team composition for me. Gonna throw this Body Slam. Like, all I need is to land a Body Slam. I'm gonna shield this Cross Chop, because I have to, or I won't be able to reach it. And I'm gonna try to make a catch on the Gallade. We'll see if I can do it. Slight pause, so it looks like he actually got a refund also. So 2 refunds in one game, probably. Hard to be positive, but that looks like how it was. So I guess fair is fair. He manages to take that game. That's GG. Also farming me for friendship. All right, next up against Jabroni. Gallade Mirror. So this is a very fast move, sneak dependent matchup. If I'm able to sneak in a confusion on them, then that's fantastic for me. I throw here at 5, and they were continuing to throw. So they get a confusion in on me, so that's terrible. If I can get a confusion in here, that would be great, because now they're at 6. They're already at back-to-back. I'm going to end up shielding anyway, and I sneak in a confusion there, so I'm going to shield here. But now they still have their shield. They sneak in another confusion. So actually, if they shield this Leaf Blade, they will be able to just confusion me down, which will put me in a terrible, terrible spot. I'm going to switch out into Snorlax, because then I can lick down to prevent them from reaching a close combat. They switch out storing a Leaf Blade, so I have to be cognizant that that is back there. And I'm just going to Body Slam this Wall Rain and then go for the Superpower after. They are going to reach their charge move here, and they are going straight Earthquake. So I'm going to build up a little bit more energy and then throw my Superpower here. I'm low, but not in single confusion range, so they can't really send out Gallade here, which I guess would have been fine. And there is an Alolan Muck in the back. So I should just send out Ampharos, and I don't know why I send out Gallade here. Store up a Leaf Blade and then switch out. Honestly, this makes like no sense. Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know what I was thinking I was trying to do there. End up sending out Ampharos now, but while Ampharos would normally outpace the Alolan Muck to Thunder Punches, and I would actually be able to win that matchup-ish, sort of, end up taking another Dark Pulse there, and I'm not going to be able to reach the close combat, so that's a GG. And they still had a Gallade with a Leaf Blade in the back, so I was like super dead at that point. I don't know why I did that, though. Like, I really should have just sent Ampharos out. Like, this is 3,400. 2 days ago, the other morning or something. I think 2 days ago. So this is all like first page leaderboard, but sometimes we make ridiculous mistakes. Also, it happens. Anyway, this set is off to a 0-2, so I really need to salvage it, win these next 3 games. Just gonna throw the Leaf Blades against Dragonite. You can actually sort of, in a sense, outpace Dragonite going straight Leaf Blade. If the Dragonite is really perfect with their fast move timing, they can beat you to the second Dragon Claw, but it is very difficult to do, and they need to basically fast move deny with their 1-turn move while you're using a 4-turn move. So it's very risky, but it is possible to get outpaced like that, especially in the current times of desync. But yeah, managed to take that lead, and I got farmed down, so that didn't really help me that much anyway. Going to bring Ampharos out into the Shadow Magma Zone, and I'm going to shield this second Wild Charge. They stay in until my move registers, and then switch out to the Blaziken. I'm not sure if there was some kind of pause lag on them, or if they just didn't want to transfer the damage from that Volt Switch. I mean, Blaziken is quite squishy, so I could see that being either a choice or a or Niantic. Regardless, gonna have to send Snorlax out into this Blaziken. If this is a Blast Burn, it is gonna do so much damage, but they actually Brave Bird, and that lowers their defense enough that I'm able to lick them down. I survive with 1 HP, and I have a Body Slam loaded. I'm able to throw this Body Slam. It is gonna be enough to take out this Shadow Magma Zone, and I managed to take that game, but that was really scary in the back when Blaziken came out. That was not a comfortable win by any measure. All right, next up against Whiskey ITJ. Gallade into Trevenant again. Going to switch out right away to Ampharos, and he switches into Charizard, which is very much not an answer to Ampharos. I actually know exactly what happened in this game. So Whiskey ITJ has been bodybuilding now for, I think, a year and a half, and he is getting quite jacked. And when you start to get really big, even your fingers will start to get like huge and muscly. And he ended up sending in the wrong Pokemon in the back. The other thing that he has back there is a Blaziken. So, had he had alignment would have been really helpful. And sending out a non-flyer into Ampharos would have been pretty good, although I think Ampharos might have been able to force switch advantage against a Blaziken anyway, especially with a tiny energy lead. But yeah, so when you get jacked enough, your fingers become really big. I hear that when you know you're huge, when your fingers are so big that you can no longer bend out over and like pick up quarters off of the sidewalk. Like it starts with dimes, right? Where your fingers are too fat to pick up dimes, and then you know then that you're now, oh yeah, I'm getting big. And then by the time you can't pick up quarters anymore, that's when you know that you're like really jacked. You're ready. So that's a real thing, but I don't know. I read an article about that a long time ago. It was never my scene, but I did, I had a friend who did. Anyway, yeah, so Gallade Mirror, very fast move sneak dependent match. I am going to shield the first Leaf Blade, and I also correctly fast move deny. So we're even, and since we haven't thrown our moves at the same time, we don't know who's going to end up winning CMP here either. They decide that they don't want to find out. Switch out and catch a Leaf Blade on their Crobat. It does less than a Confusion does, and I'm going to switch out right away into Ampharos. They didn't even manage to sneak in an Air Slash on that swap-in, so that's pretty good for me. Just going to throw this Thunder Punch. They no-shield and then are into throwing their move. So that's fine. This can only be a Poison Fang, and it's not really going to do that much because these Air Slashes are resisted anyway. There is a Nidoqueen back there, though, which is going to get a ton of farm off of me. I build up to what could be a Focus Blast, which is totally unnecessary, and now I'm just going to throw my Dragon Pulse, revealing that I do have that moveset. And I should have thrown a Dragon Pulse there also. For whatever reason, I thought I wasn't going to make it. Like, I thought that energy wasn't going to be enough, and I tried to switch in the last second and actually throw the Dragon Pulse anyway. Ended up firing off a Thunder Punch. Makes absolutely no sense. But I visually, it looked like I wasn't going to make it, but it turned out to be enough energy. So kind of a sloppy play there. I'm going to send out Snorlax. They're going to bring in their Gallade. I'm going to shield this move. Even if it's a Leaf Blade bait, they won't make another one, so it doesn't actually make any sense to throw the Leaf Blade, but they throw it anyway. So I'm going to farm that down, and yeah, now Nidoqueen is going to come back out, but I have a decent chunk of energy already, so I'm just going to throw this Body Slam, and I'm like already a third of the way to the next one, so I should be able to reach that no problem. And even if Nidoqueen throws all of its energy in an Earth Power here, if they made it, oh my gosh, they're carrying Stone Edge. It's actually managed to take me out with a Stone Edge, but that's okay. It left them with not anywhere near enough energy, able to Confusion the rest of the way down. Oh, that's a GG. Wow, Stone Edge on Nidoqueen. That's right. I do remember that some people were talking about carrying that. So I managed to win that game, and I managed to salvage that set from a 0-2 up to a 3-5, so pretty decent end of the match there. Luckily, Whiskey is pretty advanced into his regimen there. And I get 1 point. So that's a positive set. Look on the bright side. All right. Next up against Scafo. Going to safe swap into Trevenant right away, and I am going to send out Snorlax. Scafo and I actually had a very lengthy conversation about this Trevenant into Snorlax matchup, where he tells me he is usually able to flip the matchup. So this might be slightly more IV dependent than I give it credit for. For what it's worth, my Snorlax is a rank 43. I thought it was like top 30 or something. That's why I had said in my last video. But then I went back and looked at it. I have a rank 13, but I haven't built it because I'm still just using this rank 43 because it seems to have, served me pretty well in the past. And I'm not in a position where I can spend, an extra 300,000 dust to build a second one. Regardless, that little bit of extra bulk might have helped out a lot there, because this Trevenant survives with 1 HP. All I needed to do was survive 1 more Shadow Claw, which really just means I needed 1 more HP. So, having the thicker one there might have actually been kind of nice. He's going to end up sending out a Gengar, and I am going to shield the Shadow Punch. Going to keep Shadow Clawing, and I managed to take them down when there's still 1 Shadow Claw away. They only got in 3 claws there for my 2 confusions, though. So he definitely had a little bit of desync lag there, which helped. I think I might have survived with 1 HP anyway, but it's hard to say. Regardless, going to throw the Leaf Blade and then the Close Combat at that Ampharos, and then switch into my own Ampharos. Still have 1 shield left, and they have a little bit of an energy lead. I'm throwing my first Thunder Punch here when they reach their Focus Blast. Actually, they're 1 past the Focus Blast. That's all right. I'm going to shield that. I think I would survive the Focus Blast anyway, but they are not going to survive that Thunder Punch plus a Volt Switch. So, unfortunately, that the game desynced a little bit and gave me that win over Scafo, but it's okay. At least he got to farm me for friendship. All right. It's this next game against Cytochrome T. Okay. So Shadow Muck is a much better matchup for Gallade than regular Muck. Regular Muck, you kind of have to end up shielding twice, and you can't really throw anything because they resist everything. Against the Shadow, it's actually a lot better because you can just Confusion down and only have to shield once, and you end with a ton of energy. So he's going to switch out right away into Obstagoon. And I should have just thrown my Close Combat because I just spent my last video telling everyone about how I like to just build up to the Close Combat and then Leaf Blade bait. And I know Cyto watches my content, so I should really have just been like, you know what? No, and just thrown the Close Combat. Would have been able to, one-shot the Obstagoon, and I would have been in a very, very strong position. Instead, he ends up calling the bait. Our switch timers are desynced now, so now he's actually going to end up sending his Alolan Muck back out. Or, sorry, his Kanto Muck back out, his Shadow Muck. I'm going to land a Thunder Punch, and now I'm going to send out Gallade to go for the farm. I'm not able to sneak into Confusion, and he's insta-throwing, so that's unfortunate for me. Going to have to shield this. It is just a Thunder Punch, but it will definitely do enough that I won't be able to farm down anymore. And since I wasn't able to sneak in a move on his insta-throw, he's going to reach another Thunder Punch here. And now he has 2 shields to my none. And a Charizard comes out to absorb this Leaf Blade. So that is a rough position for me. I'm going to throw one Confusion so that I have a Leaf Blade loaded and then switch out into my Snorlax. Snorlax can survive a Blast Burn, but it won't survive a Blast Burn plus a Dragon Claw. Switches out into Obstagoon. I throw my my Body Slam, but it's like too late. My opponent still literally has 2 shields. I'm pretty sure he's going for a 2-shield flex, and I don't want that to happen. So I am going to throw this Close Combat just so that if he doesn't shield it again, he will at least die. So I'm not going to get 2-shield flexed in this matchup, but it definitely doesn't go my way either. So that's a GG. That's on me. I should have known that he knew. I've got to mind games at least a little. So into this next match against Cytochrome T. This isn't the next day or even hours later. It's literally 5 minutes after the first match. Like, I re-queued and queued into him again instantly. It's not supposed to happen, but it does. And I built up to the Close Combat, and I'm like, there's no way he's not going to bait again. Or there's no way he's going to call the bait again. And then he called the bait again. Even though he knew that I knew that he knew, he still was like, you know what, I don't care. I'm just not going to shield. Sucks to be me. So, that's unfortunate. But, that's fine. I'm going to play this one out a little bit differently. I'm going to try staying in with Gallade. I throw my second Leaf Blade, and that does get the shield. And now I'm going to send out Ampharos. Since now I know what's in the back also, he knew it was in the back the first time. Now we both know what we have. So we just encountered each other. And he's going to send out Muck here. So that's fine. He sneaks in a Poison Jab, and I'm going to throw my Thunder Punch. Looks like a pair of Thunder Punches will be enough, plus, the Volt Switches. He continues to build up a little bit more energy because obviously I'm not going to end up shielding something that will turn out to be a Thunder Punch. Except that I will because, at this point I need to just get out my other moves. And I don't want to take so much damage on Snorlax just yet. Gonna end up no shielding this one, and I switch out just so that Muck gets a little bit less farm, because it's not like I'll be able to get a Volt Switch through. It would only provide farm and no damage. Unfortunately, now I have 2 Pokemon in the back that won't be able to get a move out because they're both 4-turn moves. So it actually would have made more sense to just let Ampharos go down so I would at least have the ability to catch a move on Gallade. Now I'm switch locked. I'm going to have to shield this Dragon Claw, even though I know it's going to be a Dragon Claw. I'm building up as much energy as I can, and I'm going to throw the Body Slam here because there is still an Obstagoon in the back, and I need to actually land a Superpower on it. It's not even in Body Slam range. Ob's going to come back out, and I just don't quite get enough in. I threw every lick I could against Charizard, but I had to throw before he got to his next move. I'm going to switch out to clear my debuff so that maybe Snorlax's licks can do more damage, and it's just not enough. I need to get in at least another lick, maybe 2, and Cyto manages to take me out a second time. So, probably should just I should probably just throw the Close Combat when it's someone that I know. When it's someone that I know knows, I should probably just throw the Close Combat. All right, so Gallade into Heracross. They're going to switch out into Snorlax right away, and I'm going to respond by sending out Ampharos. If I send out my own Snorlax, there are a couple scenarios with baiting where I might end up losing this. With Ampharos, I know I'll be able to win switch or shield advantage. So going to throw the first Thunder Punch, throw another Volt Switch. I'm going to end up shielding this. If I threw my next Thunder Punch right away, they would be able to no-shield it regardless and survive. So builds up to back-to-back Thunder Punch. If they decide to shield this, they will be able to lick down, but they'll have to double shield, and they know that. They decide to just take the shield advantage and let me have switch. Heracross is going to come back out. Luckily, my Ampharos is pretty low, so I'm not going to provide that much farm. I should have thrown one extra Volt Switch so that I could throw the Dragon Pulse instead of just throwing the Thunder Punch. And there's a Wall Rain in the back, so this is fine. I'm going to be able to throw this Leaf Blade. It will almost definitely get a shield. And now I can switch out into Snorlax, and this is mostly fine. So my Snorlax just needs to land a Superpower against this Shadow Wall Rain. Superpower will do about 65% damage, I'd say. I'm not going to shield that first move, and I'm not going to shield this either. I need to save my shield. The way I can lose this game is if Heracross ends up farming me down and managing to throw too many charge moves at my Gallade. They're actually going to no-shield the Superpower, go down, come in and farm down with Heracross, but they haven't quite gotten enough farm that they'll be able to reach 2 moves. I get in that last confusion and they're throwing something here. I'm going to shield this because if they rock blast bait, they won't reach another move. Well, because that confusion will register. So yeah, through the Mega Horn, better to go for it so that, you know, if I decide to no shield, at least they would have a chance of securing the win as opposed to no chance. But I managed to take that game. All right, Gallade into Muck. So regular non-shadow Muck takes not quite enough damage for my confusions, and poison resists both of my charge moves, so not really that much I can do in this matchup. If they Dark Pulse, it will actually hurt quite a bit, but I was feeling like they would probably Thunder Punch because then they can reach a second one, so won't shield that first move. Gonna shield the second. If they had thrown the Dark Pulse, this actually would have been terrible for me. And now I have given up a shield to win switch, which is looking like it's going to be pretty useful because there's a Trevenant back there. But I'm going to have to just spam out these Leaf Blades, try to get out a third. If I can get out a third Leaf Blade, that would be fantastic, but I'm not quite healthy enough to do it. Able to Shadow Claw me down before I get to that next Leaf Blade. Not that it would have done that much anyway, and there's a Wall Rain back there, so I'm going to switch an Ampharos right away so that I don't have to really worry as much about getting Earthquaked right away. Like, I'll at least be able to get this Thunder Punch off and force a shield beforehand. I'm up to my second Thunder Punch, so I'm going to shield this. They actually do Earthquake, so fantastic for me. I'm going to be able to throw this Thunder Punch, and I should be able to get to another Thunder Punch before they get to another Earthquake, I think, just barely. And even if they do get to the Earthquake, where they'll apparently win CMP against me, then Snorlax would just come out, throw one Body Slam, and Trevenant is way too low and doesn't have nearly enough energy to really threaten Snorlax that much. Gonna land that Thunder Punch and then just switch out into Snorlax. And I am just going to be able to lick this Trevenant the whole way down. They're going to reach a move, but there's nothing they can really do. They know that, so they Shadow Ball. And I am going to lick the whole way down, and that is a GG. All right. So, managed to take that game also, and that is another 3 out of 5. So, 5, 3, and 3. Pretty decent run. I get a Regice. That's pretty useful. I forgot that these have a special move, Thunder. This, somehow I'm able to catch this in one ball, even though I couldn't catch the Bayleaf earlier. It took 3. Not the best IVs, but, you know, it'll be useful for trades. And another 3 out of 5. This one gets me more than 1 point. I get 8 points, which is fantastic. And that win actually brought me up here to number 13 on the leaderboard, actually directly under Whiskey, who, you know, Charizarded into my Ampharos. So, pretty decent results, solid first place finish. I'm pretty much done climbing with this team because I've now made 2 videos with it, so, you know, need to make some kind of other content. Actually, I'm going to also be tanking my score for the next couple of days. I am going to be streaming on Twitch every day this week, doing Twitch picks where I'm just gonna, it's gonna be my community's job to pick things that will get me killed, and I'm just going to try resisting dying, but usually, you know, yeah. I'm going to lose a lot of points over the next couple of days, so I'm not going to be present on the leaderboard, and I'm going to be using all my sets there, so it's going to be difficult for me to make content. So, to that note, if you are playing high-level games anywhere on or near leaderboard, legend or above right now, and you have a team that you'd like me to look over and I guess make some content over, it would really help me out if you could send me some games. You can DM me on Twitter for my contact info, or maybe I should just put it in the description. You know what? I'll do that. Also, don't forget to do those things you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. You know you're supposed to do them. I told you to do them at the beginning of this video, but I'm also going to tell you here. Please do the things. Helps me out a lot. I'll see you guys on the next one.